Hey guys, it's Jeremy here, Middle Music Meltdown, back with another video. What we have for today, guys, is another edition of Freddie Fridays. I wanted to kind of do a continuation of the last video I did for Freddie Fridays a couple weeks ago. The last one was kind of what happened to John Deacon, and this one I found a clip. I think it's from the same YouTube channel. This is called Friends Indeed, the story of Freddie Mercury and John Deacon. So I think it'll give you some backstory of their friendship and how they kind of connected together in the band. So I just wanted to check this out as kind of a part two. So let's jump right in, guys, and check it out. In 3, 2, 1, Queen.
Free from your lies, you're so self-satisfied.
Today we're exploring the heartwarming friendship shared by Freddie Mercury and John Deacon. When Freddie Mercury passed away in 1991, John Deacon left the band, and his departure made people question his friendships with the members of Queen and his loyalty to the band. But the story of John Deacon and Freddie Mercury isn't a tragedy. The pair shared an amazing journey in friendship over the years. It sounds like an unlikely friendship. John's reserved and introverted, and he hasn't been in the public eye for decades. On the flip side, you have Freddie Mercury, who is one of the most extreme performers and frontmen of all time. So what made John and Freddie so close? Let's take a look back at the band's early days to see how their friendship grew during Queen's reign on the top of the rock ladder. Their bond began way back in Queen's earliest days. Back then, Brian and Roger had already become close friends before Queen even started. The pair were part of a group called Smile for a few years before they recruited Freddie in 1970. Brian, Roger, and Freddie were all extremely outgoing. They loved to party, and they lived the rock star lifestyle even before they hit it big. John was the last member to join Queen, and Freddie vouched for him to help John land his spot in the Queen lineup. Freddie thought that John's quiet and reserved personality would help balance out the group, but Freddie saw something in John that no one else did. Freddie said of his friend, "He's sort of quiet. Lots of people think that, but don't underestimate him. He's got a fiery streak under all that." Once John got comfortable with the band members, he fit right in behind closed doors. Once he opened up, he wasn't always quiet and reserved like many people believe. On May 30th, 1991, in a behind-the-scenes interview during the video shoot for Queen's track called "These Are the Days of Our Lives," John said, "Often it's singers and guitarists who are more outspoken, but behind the scenes, I can be as noisy as anybody else. I think we all had our fair share of craziness over the years. I can't say it's been easy. It's been difficult at times. We've had good times and bad times, when we've fallen out and made up." John was always shy in the public eye, but his strength in the face of his own anxiety was inspiring to the members of Queen, and he couldn't have overcame that anxiety without the help of his friend Freddie Mercury. Freddie stood by John every step of the way to help him cope with the intense fan and press attention and all the pressures that came with being a famous rock legend. Freddie's personal assistant and close friend, Peter Freestone, had this to say about how John and Freddie's relationship developed from the early days. Freddie took John under his wing because he was the new boy. He was shy, not like Brian and Roger. He wanted to protect him. Without Freddie there, John was not able to stay in the band. Freddie drew the attention away, and without Freddie there, I don't think John could face any of it. But their relationship wasn't one-sided. John also remained loyal to Freddie until the very end, and he had to keep Freddie under control when he got out of hand. And Freddie would lose his temper frequently, especially before the band was about to start a recording session. Freddie wanted to pump up the adrenaline before the band would record, but he would do that by picking fights with people, including the band themselves. Everyone knew what he was up to, so that meant Freddie had to go harder every time to spark a reaction. Freddie would often fight about the music itself instead of personally attacking people, but sometimes things got heated. These little spars made Brian say that Queen was 4 people in a marriage since they were always bickering and making up. While Freddie and Brian were the primary songwriters for Queen, Roger and John also knew how to write. Without a centralized leader, sometimes tensions would escalate during songwriting or recording, as everyone wanted their own tracks in the spotlight on albums and on tour. Despite how close everyone was, every member wanted their own name as the primary credit for the songs they each wrote. Early on, they decided to just credit every song to Queen to solve the issue. But when they got famous, they all wanted the royalty credits for their singles. Even though every track had involvement from every member, most singles would later be credited to the member who primarily wrote the track, except John's tracks. Later on, John would credit Freddie alongside his tracks because he wanted to acknowledge how important Freddie's involvement was in his own music and the band as a whole. When Queen started to gain traction and began touring and getting swamped with press opportunities, interviews, and paparazzi, Freddie would step up to help John get through these difficult moments. Jackie Smith, president of the Queen fan club, said, "Freddie drew the attention away, and without Freddie there, I don't think John could face any of it." Freddie's own extroverted personality, crazy wardrobe, and star power certainly helped take the spotlight off of John when he needed space. But he wasn't just putting on a performance for himself, he was going above and beyond for his friend. Freddie said he wanted to protect John. Hard to do when you're constantly partying, but Freddie gave John his very best. Then, John's work with Queen and his closest friendship all fell apart when Freddie Mercury passed away due to complications from AIDS back in 1991. Freddie was John's anchor. Without Freddie around, John couldn't handle the pressure of the spotlight. Those who knew John and Freddie spoke about John's departure from the band and how Freddie's passing crushed him. Deacon's friend from college, Robert Alway, speculated, maybe he thought Freddie was the band, so what's the point? John suffered from depression after Freddie died, and I am not sure he has ever come out of it. John's former bandmate, Brian May, shared a similar perspective on how Freddie's passing impacted John Deacon, saying, "I think losing Freddie was very hard for him as well. He found that incredibly hard to process, to the point where actually playing with us made it more difficult." After Freddie passed away, John quit Queen and moved to retirement. The former bassist continued to work with the band to some capacity from the sidelines. John's level-headed mentality meant he still had an important role to play in the band, as he helped keep track of financial decisions for Queen as the 2000s approached. Although John stayed in touch with the band's behind-the-scenes operations, he very rarely reached out to Roger or Brian. Without Freddie to deflect the limelight, John couldn't risk any outlandish concerts or interviews. And without Freddie's support, he couldn't face his former friends and band members either. But John's story isn't a sad one. With Freddie gone, John found support with his wife Veronica. Together, they've been living a quiet life in reverence to Freddie's life that ended far too early. Even though John Deacon left Queen, he played a crucial role in creating some of the greatest rock music of all time, and he made his friend Freddie Mercury proud. That's the story of John Deacon and Freddie Mercury's friendship. We hope you enjoyed it. What's your favorite part about John and Freddie's friendship? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked the video, click that like button and subscribe for more amazing videos coming your way soon, and we'll see you next time.
Clip. Again, sorry about the lighting, guys. I know it looks kind of bad. It's like yellow. But I just wanted to get this video recorded for you guys after work, and it's a little bit later in the day, so I don't have any natural lighting. I'm still waiting to buy like a ring light or better lighting to record videos. But a pretty cool video. It's kind of what I expected. They kind of balanced each other out, kind of like opposites attract. Freddie was life of the party, bigger than life, and John was kind of more down to earth, kind of a quieter guy. So he kind of leveled Freddie out, and then Freddie probably brought John out of his shell a little bit more. I know Freddie was a little bit more shyer and behind the scenes than most people think, but he's still like a big life of the party. Excuse me, very outgoing, and enjoyed to have a good time, where John was kind of more reserved and quiet. But a pretty cool video. It's kind of what I expected. Let me know down below, guys, your thoughts on the video, and stay tuned for next week's clip. Until next time, guys, keep it metal.